Moving to a new city can be both exciting and nerve-wracking. Kitchener's neighborhoods vary dramatically, from style to vibe to safety. In the last video, we explored Kitchener's lower tier neighborhoods, and there was a few hidden gems that you might not have expected. In this video, we'll pick up where we left off and finish out the B tier all the way up to the S tier, the most prestigious neighborhoods here within the city of Kitchener. Let's dive right in. Now, Stanley Park is going to be located on the eastern side of the city. I really like this neighborhood. It's definitely B tier. You're close to Stanley Park Conservation Area as well. A multitude of shopping options. You have Stanley Park Mall nearby, Fairview Park Mall, as well as you're right on the expressway, which is the local highway system we have here in the city of Kitchener. So it's an absolute breeze to get to the western side of Kitchener or to head up to Waterloo. Let's move on to the next neighborhood here. That's Forest Hill. Forest Hill is located on the western side of the city, and I do think it's one of the hidden gems within the city of Kitchener, and it's definitely B tier. For the most part, we're looking at homes built in the 60s, 70s, and early 80s, with the majority of those homes built in the 70s. You're gonna find a ton of different housing options within this area. We're talking bungalows, side splits, back splits, raised bungalows, and 2 stories for the most part. It's very family friendly. The benefit of living in this neighborhood is there's a lot of forestry. It's very calming, it's very relaxing just being there. And you're gonna have, of course, wider lots than you'd find in the traditional neighborhood. Moving on to the next neighborhood, we're looking at Highland West, which is gonna be northwest of Forest Hill. In this neighborhood, we're looking at homes primarily comprised of the early 2000s. We're going to be looking at narrower lots for the most part. Homes in this neighborhood on the smaller side, we're looking at 1,300 square feet, 1,400 square feet above grade, all the way up to, 2,000 to 2,100 square feet. The benefit of living in this neighborhood is you are relatively close to the boardwalk, which is an absolutely massive shopping area, which is nearly 1 kilometer long. And it's definitely be one of the largest continuous shopping areas, not only within Ontario, but maybe within Canada. There are a multitude of stores, Walmart, Lowe's, Winners, cigar shop, there's a cinema. You have absolutely everything within the boardwalk. Moving on to the next neighborhood here, we're gonna head over to the eastern side. We're gonna look at Pioneer Park. Pioneer Park is gonna be fairly similar to Forest Hill, but we're going to be located on the eastern side. We're looking at homes a little bit newer, built primarily in the 70s and 80s. We're looking more at 2 stories rather than back splits and side splits. Another benefit of living in this neighborhood, you're relatively close to Highway 401, and I think it's definitely an excellent choice if you're looking at a first-time home buyer. We're looking at smaller detached homes, 1,100 square foot bungalows, maybe 1,300 square foot, 1,400 square foot 2-story homes on relatively wide lots, ranging, from 45, maybe to 55, 60 feet at the absolute widest. Moving on to the next neighborhood here, this is going to be Grand River North, and Grand River North is comprised of basically 2 major areas. The original Grand River North area is comprised of homes built in the 1970s and 80s, primarily back splits bungalows, raised bungalows, and 2-story homes, somewhat wider lots, about 50 feet wide or so, and a great blend of both new and old in this area. You're relatively close to Victoria Street, so there's a lot of shopping within that area. You're relatively close to Grand River if you're somebody that likes kayaking or canoeing or the great outdoors, or even the multitude of trails nearby. This one might be on your radar. Now, on the northern half of Grand River North, there is a fairly new area comprised of homes built primarily in the 2020s, and there's still new homes being built there right now. Primarily Brexton Homes and Ridgeview Homes were the builders in this area, and I recently had a client purchase a nearly new home in this area, 3,000 square feet, absolutely stunning home. And if you're looking to make the move here to the Waterloo region, I would be more than happy to help you. You can book a call with me in the first link in the description, or call, text, or email. Now, heading on to the next neighborhood here, this is definitely between the B tier, A tier. I would call this a B plus neighborhood. We're looking at Chicopee on the eastern side of the city, again, very close to the Grand River. And this is a common theme. If you're on the eastern side of the city of Kitchener, you do have the benefit of being closer to Highway 401, as well as being close to the Grand River, which obviously the western side of the city lacks. The great thing about this neighborhood is you have a variety of housing options. If you're on the lower end towards the bottom of the hill, we're looking at homes primarily built in the 1970s, slightly on the smaller side, nothing tiny, but we're looking 1,100, 1,200 square foot bungalows and back splits. If you're further up the hill, we're looking at a more luxurious neighborhood, more so of an A-tier neighborhood. You can find homes here that back on to the Grand River or have views of the Grand River rather. And these homes here are primarily built late 90s and 2000s. So you get a good blend of both new and old, and you do have relatively wide lots. Another benefit is you are close to Chicopee Ski Hill. So if you are an avid skier or would just like to go tubing with the kids, definitely being close to Chicopee Ski Hill in the winter is a great benefit to you. The next neighborhood here is Brigadoon and Huron Park, and this, I would argue, probably a B+, yet again, almost an A-tier neighborhood. Absolutely gorgeous, and we'll look at Huron Park first. Huron Park is located on the southwestern side of the city, primarily comprised of homes built in the 2000s for the most part. Mostly detached two-story homes. There's some stacked townhomes as well that are a bit newer than you'd find than the detached homes. And then of course, they're still building on the southeastern side. Fusion Homes is currently building in that neighborhood, another great builder in there. And you're looking at homes primarily on the larger side. We're talking 2,000 square feet and above for the detached homes. And then of course, you're gonna have townhomes in there as well. Another great aspect of living in this neighborhood is you are close to RBJ Schlegel Park, which is a newly built park. There's a multitude of soccer fields. There's paddle courts. There's also gonna be a sports complex coming in there as well. You are close to Longo's, which is the only Longo's here within the city of Kitchener. So if you're looking for a more upscale grocery store, Longo's is definitely a great choice. Now let's talk about Brigadoon. Brigadoon is going to be a lot different than Huron Park South. This neighborhood is going to be primarily comprised of homes, believe it or not, from the 60s and 70s. And most of these homes are going to be on septic systems rather than on the city's sewer system. This neighborhood was built out decades ago before the city expanded out to this area, and that's why you do not have the traditional water and sewer within this neighborhood. What you're gonna find here is basically a tucked away oasis. You're not gonna find this really anywhere else within the city of Kitchener, having these very wide lots and almost farm country-like style homes, all very unique. Let's move on to the next neighborhood here. This is Trustler, definitely a B-tier neighborhood, nearly new. They're still continuing to build in this neighborhood, and we're talking homes, primarily townhouses and detached homes. The primary builder in here is going to be Mattamy Homes as well as Heathwood Homes, and it's an absolutely huge area. I couldn't believe how much was actually being built in that area. A lot of homes there. We're talking on the Mattamy side, probably starting around the 1,800 square foot mark. And then of course the townhomes, you're looking at 1,450 square feet and above. If you're looking for newer homes, then this might be a great option for you. Another benefit is you're close to a ton of grocery stores within this neighborhood. Food Basics, Sobeys, Longo's, No Frills, and Freshco. All your bases are covered within this area. Moving on to the next neighborhood here, this is going to be the East Ward, Central Frederick, and the Auditorium. Now these homes can vary drastically in terms of the age. If we're talking about the homes closer to downtown Kitchener, we're looking at 30s and 40s. If we're talking on the eastern side of the neighborhoods, the newer area per se, that's going to be 50s and 60s for the most part. So you have a great variety of different housing styles within these two neighborhoods, right? So you have the old kind of Victorian era housing options, you know, like the traditional two-story homes with that beautiful wood finish inside that we don't really see on newer homes. And then you're gonna have the bungalows, very typical of the 1950s, that post-war era type vibe within Central Frederick and the Auditorium. Another benefit is you're close to downtown Kitchener, and you're close to the expressway as well, both in Auditorium and Central Frederick. Now moving on to the A tier here, we're looking at Grand River South. Grand River South is going to be located on the eastern side of the city. A lot of times people refer to this area as Lackner Woods as well, so they're both interchangeable. This neighborhood is going to be primarily composed of detached homes as well as townhouses built primarily in the mid-2000s. Some of the earlier stuff on the western side might be the late 1990s. So you have a great variety of homes within this neighborhood. You have excellent schools. I believe Pope John Paul, if you're looking on the Catholic side, ranks very highly. I believe like 8.2 or 8.3. You're also close to Pearson International Airport, which has flights not only domestic but also international. So you don't necessarily need to go to Pearson International Airport to catch a flight to many popular destinations like Halifax, Calgary, or Vancouver. And if you're looking to get away in the wintertime, Cuba and Mexico. Another great benefit is the trails within this neighborhood, as well as being close to the Grand River. Moving on to the next neighborhood here, we're looking at Beechwood Forest, an absolutely fantastic neighborhood, a bit of a hidden gem. You would almost overlook this neighborhood if you weren't familiar with the city. Beechwood Forest is kind of tucked away between Highland West and Westvale, a bit of a smaller area. We're talking homes primarily built in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Again, on wider lots, larger homes. On the smaller side in that neighborhood, we're looking at 2000s all the way up to maybe like 3,100 square feet. Primarily double car garage homes, some triple car garage homes in that neighborhood. Very luxurious. I find that the landscaping is meticulously maintained within this neighborhood. Again, you're close to the boardwalk for all of your shopping needs and relatively close to downtown Kitchener as well. So it's a great option. Heading on to the most northernly neighborhood in the city of Kitchener. Often people think it's in Waterloo. It's Bridgeport North. This neighborhood here is going to be primarily composed of newer homes built in the mid-2000s. Definitely on the larger side. A lot of homes in here are going to be 2,000 square feet plus. Again, benefit, you're close to Kiwanis Park. If you want a place to hang out in the summertime, if you don't have a pool, there's basically a large massive pool, somewhat resembles a beach-like setting. You do have a multitude of trails in this area that go along the Grand River, and it's definitely one area I would certainly look at if you're looking at that 1 million plus range, even that 900K plus range if you can get in on the lower end. This is one to highlight and keep on your radar. Now, Dune South. Dune South, definitely A tier. We're looking at the southern side of the city, very close to Highway 401. So if you are a commuter or if you're somebody looking to move here from the GTA and occasionally you do have to go to Toronto, this one should certainly be on your radar. This neighborhood primarily composed of homes built in the 2000s. On the older side of the neighborhood, we're talking maybe 2005, the older homes in there, all the way up to brand new homes. Activa is currently building in there at Harvest Park, so detached homes. I believe the smallest ones were like 1,800 square feet, 1,700 square feet. So that might be an option for you. The other homes in this neighborhood, primarily townhomes and detached homes, both single car garage and double car garage. So you definitely have a variety of different homes. Idlewood rounds out the last neighborhood in the A tier. I hesitated to put it in the S tier. I think there's a lot of value in this neighborhood. You have an excellent location. You're close to the expressway. You're close to Guelph, relatively close to Cambridge. You can also get up to Waterloo right away. So it's really kind of smack dab in the middle between Guelph, Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge. In the neighborhood itself, it's absolutely gorgeous. The landscaping for most of these homes in this neighborhood are meticulously maintained. The homes in this neighborhood were built primarily in the 1980s and early 90s, which in my opinion, probably the best time era. Everything built in the 80s was beautiful. In fact, for the most part, higher interest rates, people decided, hey, we are going to build once. We're going to build to the best quality possible. We don't want to take out another loan at 16%. And that's what they did. You can really see it within the build quality of this neighborhood. You have a variety of homes too, all very unique. You have bungalows, triple car garage, 1,800 square feet, which is a rarity within the city of Kitchener. on 50, 60, 65 foot lots. So definitely a lot of room between your neighbors. And then of course, you're gonna have your 2-story homes, all the way up to 3,300 square feet. On the northern side of the neighborhood, closer to Heritage Park, we're looking at homes a little bit smaller side, but again, great options within this neighborhood. And I would reckon that the entry level in this neighborhood for the detached side would be around the 800s, 850. The S tier, these neighborhoods are truly a cut above, and there's 3 neighborhoods that make up this tier. We're gonna be looking at Westmount. Now Westmount, I've highlighted this one several times before. Absolutely gorgeous neighborhood. If you tell somebody you live in Westmount, you are wealthy for the most part. Even on the smaller side of things, they have homes in there that are, 1,100 square foot bungalows. On the absolute small end, you're going to be paying a premium just to live in Westmount. And it's for good reason. You're right close to uptown Waterloo. If you like nightlife, you want to go out to a restaurant, you can walk there in the summers. The homes in this neighborhood are on wider lots, which is very rare considering you are really close to both downtown Kitchener and uptown Waterloo. And then in this neighborhood, you're going to find some of the most expensive homes within the city of Kitchener. There's a lot less turnover in this neighborhood. People buy here, they'll keep the home forever essentially and live out their lives. There is a plethora of different housing styles. On the eastern side, closer to uptown Waterloo, we're looking at 20s and 30s. And then on the western side, we're kind of looking 50s and 60s. So you get a bit of both in terms of the housing options. Moving on to the next neighborhood in the S tier, we're looking at Deer Ridge, which is going to be on the southeastern side of the city of Kitchener, very close to Costco, very close to Highway 401. So if you are commuting, this might be an option. We're talking executive style bungalows, 2-story detached homes, absolutely stunning neighborhood, meticulously maintained, very safe, low crime. I would think that the demographics within this neighborhood, primarily professionals, doctors, CEOs, dentists, entrepreneurs. It's an absolutely fantastic area. You're also close to Grand River as well. You're close to the multitude of trails, and you do have a great golf course in Grand River Golf Course. Now, the best neighborhood in Kitchener is going to be Hidden Valley, and everybody knows it. Hidden Valley has the largest homes within the city of Kitchener, absolutely massive. We're talking homes on 1 acre, some on 2 acres of land, right in the city, very close to the Grand River. Some of them overlook the Grand River. If you're somebody that's looking at $2 million plus, this is definitely one place I'd look at.